So we can cuss?
No, we've been over this. The
It's
reason
not for kids.
The reason I say it's not for kids because if you say it is for kids, then they disable the chat function.
Yeah, you've explained that like 3 or 4 times.
They disable the chat function, and they also you can't do picture in picture
PP?
PP or PIP. Yeah. So okay. Let's check audio and then let's do this thing. My goodness.
Testicles.
Test.
Testicles.
Hey, that's better.
Test. All right.
Man, y'all sound amazing.
Thank you.
Great.
I love it.
All right.
Cheers.
Ready to
Woo!
roll. Ready to roll.
What are you drinking?
Buffalo Trace.
One day. One day I'll be cool like you guys.
Move to Dallas and I'll buy you 6 bottles.
6 bottles.
Damn.
You might have to move to Dallas.
Yeah.
That's the best I can do.
Coming in a little quiet. Beep, beep, beep.
Wait, who's coming in
That's
quiet?
good.
Me.
Oh, okay.
That's better. All right. Let's pause. Alex, you beep.
What?
And
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
I
it's
just-
me or
let Rozey
Austin.
beep.
Thank
Okay, I just...
I've never beeped before. I'm not ready for this.
I've had to bleep you before, though.
you.
True.
All right, let's pause, Rozey beep, and then let's do this thing.
Beep.
Welcome, young and old, to this week's episode of Making the Call. It is August 1st. As the day we are recording this, you'll be listening to this most likely on August 2nd. And if it's August, that means that it is NFL Division preview time here on this lovely podcast. And so I've got Rozey and Alex with me. What we're going to do is the entire month of August, we're going to pick 2 divisions, go through them. We've got categories, we've got team tiers, we've got fantasy players to watch, betting picks. I'm not going to spoil the whole podcast, but we've got this whole, we got a whole thing that we're going to run through for each division. And we're going to start with the South Division. So this week we're covering the NFC and the AFC South. And gentlemen, let's start with the NFC South. I want to start by just kind of getting your mind refreshed on all these teams, because I don't know if you're this way, but until I actually started prepping for this podcast, NFC South specifically, I haven't really thought about these teams very much during the offseason outside of, 1 or 2. So I think it's good to kind of give you a refresher of how these teams did in 2022, how things have changed, and then kind of go from there. So 2022, Tampa Bay won the division. They were 9-7. They lost in the wild card round to your Dallas Cowboys. Carolina was 7-10. They missed the playoffs. New Orleans was 7-10. They missed the playoffs. And then Atlanta, you guessed it, was 7-10 and missed the playoffs. This division changed in a few ways. Biggest being Tom Brady retired. Baker Mayfield. Alex's Baker Mayfield, the naming honors of Alex's dog Baker, is now QB1 in Tampa Bay. You've probably heard
Because
Baker.
he's dog crap.
I thought you were going to say he's got that dog in him, but I guess that works too. So Baker Mayfield's QB1 in Tampa Bay. Carolina traded up to the number 1 overall pick, traded away DJ Moore, and drafted Bryce Young to be their new franchise quarterback. Carolina also hired Frank Reich as its new head coach and brought in wide receiver Adam Thielen and running back Miles Sanders. And Derek Carr is now the quarterback in New Orleans. And then Atlanta drafted the fantasy darling, Rozey's darling, running back Bijan Robinson.
He's a beautiful, beautiful boy, as you've seen on Twitter recently.
He is. So that's how the division changed. Like I said, Tampa was 9-7. Everyone else was 7-10. So based on who you think these teams are going to be in 2023, do you think this division as a whole got better or worse, or you can even say stayed the same from last year?
I'll go
I
easy.
feel like they kind of
answer.
stayed the same.
Yeah, that same. Stayed the same. Like 7-10 just seems like the right record for all these teams, but one of them's going to end up being 9-7. Well, 9-8, but
This may
So
be a surprise, but I don't think any of these teams will be worse than 7-10.
yeah, they'll just beat up on each other.
Yeah, I think they will all be pretty bad, but none of them will be awful.
Yeah, they'll just be mediocre.
okay, no one's going to be worse than 7-10. That's okay.
Making the call.
That's a soft call, but I mean, you
Yeah.
could if you wanted to. But I could see it. I could see it. All right, let's go through some. I came up with some big questions for each team, and we'll start with Tampa Bay since they did win this division. And honestly, and if y'all have other big questions, we can discuss them as well. But the biggest question I have around the Buccaneers is, are we going to get a midseason fire sale from them? Like, is this a team that is just prime to be a seller at the trade deadline, whenever that is in the NFL season? Because they've got veterans, they've got Mike Evans, they've got Chris Godwin, they've got some Devin White and some other veterans on defense. This team isn't going anywhere. Like, do we think we're going to see them blow it up, or at least move some of these big name veterans midseason?
I think one for sure will get moved midseason, and that's Mike Evans. I don't think that they are going to be willing to move Chris Godwin because Chris Godwin's still young. He just got signed to a 3-year contract. And if they're as bad as everyone is saying they are, they're in the conversation for Drake May, who Chris Godwin would be perfect with Drake May. So
That's true. I guess he is. Well, I'll let Alex answer first. What do you think, Alex?
I was going to say Mike Evans, too. Like, he just seems like the prime guy to get shipped out of there. He's, 30 this year?
I think it's 29 right now.
Okay, close enough.
Which is kind of crazy because it feels like he's been in the NFL for a whole
He's
long
29, but his birthday is August 21st, so he turns 30 in 3 weeks.
So there you go. But he's an experienced vet. How many years does he have left on his contract? I feel like not that many, so it's probably like an expiring type deal. So I feel like
I'll pull it up for you.
Prime candidate to be traded to a contender.
And I don't really see anyone else getting traded. Like, I don't know anyone on defense that would get moved.
I mean, Andrew mentioned Devin White. That could be an option. They might not want to pay him.
Is he on the team?
Is he not? I thought he was. So Mike Evans, he has some voided years in his contract after this one, so he's basically a free agent after this year.
Yeah, so that'd be easy to move.
Yeah, Devin White's still on the Buccaneers.
You never know. Baker could tear it up, and they could be right in the conversation as the division leaders.
See, I really don't think their team is that bad. Like,
and they play in a crappy division, so like,
yeah, exactly.
They're around 500. They're gonna be in it.
But what's what's the ceiling of this Buccaneers team? Like, are they getting to double-digit wins if everything breaks right? Like, could you see 10-7?
Yeah, I'd say the ceiling is probably 10-7.
I'd have a hard time
their
making
schedule.
that call.
Let me look at that.
Yeah.
But Baker would have to be great, or Kyle Trask, and I don't really see that. I really think 7-10 is what they'll get.
So this is kind of a preview for later on in the podcast, but I think it's good to at least run through these numbers as we talk about these teams throughout the NFC South preview. So their over-unders that Vegas has set for wins for all these teams, in order from most to least. New Orleans, they have it set at 9 flat, not 9.5, not 8.5, but 9. Falcons are set at 8.5, Panthers are 7.5, and Bucks are 6.5. So if you think the Bucks are going to go 7-10 or better, go take that over on Bucks. I mean, I don't know if I'm brave enough to go bet my own money on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers over win total in 2023, the year of our Lord, but 6.5 is a pretty low win total.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really like betting on Todd Bowles. I think he's probably the worst coach in the league at this point.
Sheesh.
So
The worst coach in the league.
yeah, I'd probably
Not Mike
say he's
McCarthy?
the worst.
No.
No, no.
Okay, all
I mean, he's fine. Trent's not on the podcast today.
right. True.
He will be on the Cowboys podcast, though.
Dude, if he had vacation plans for that week, he would move them to make sure he's on.
Oh, yeah.
To make sure he's on the East podcast and the North podcast to talk about Kirk Cousins and Justin Fields.
Yep.
No doubt. Okay, let's move to Carolina. My big question for this team is just what are your expectations for Bryce Young in year one? We've talked about it a little bit for what you think, Rozey, in prior podcasts. So I'll start with Alex with this one. Alex, rookie quarterback, going to be the smallest quarterback in the league.
Yeah.
What are your expectations for him?
I think he's going to be probably around league average. He'll have those rookie mistakes that everybody has, but he's got a good defense around him. I don't think he has the best weapons surrounded by him, but his football IQ is top notch, so I think he'll be able to figure it out and get his feet under him.
Yeah, because the weapons he has, let's see, he's got Adam Thielen. He'll have Miles Sanders in the backfield. And Jonathan Mingo, right, the rookie that they also took. So, yeah, I mean, they're not overflowing with talent from a skill position standpoint.
DJ Chark is also there now.
Oh, that's right. I had forgotten, so I'm glad you reminded me.
I mean, honestly, though, like, out of the receivers there, he's probably my favorite to be the most productive. And then a guy I will talk about later, Hayden Hurst. Not very excited for him, but, I think he's a good tight end. I think they have enough pieces. And I think Bryce Young, if he wasn't 5'10", he could be in competition with Caleb Williams as, like, one of the greatest prospects of all time. Like, you see the arm already in training camp. That is not lacking. His size does not inhibit that. And he's already one of the smartest quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah. Does anyone know how their offensive line is looking, though? That'd be my only
Pretty good.
concern. Because I really don't know anything about their offensive line.
Um,
I think it's like middle of the road because they've been drafting on the offensive line the last few years.
Let me look. Oh, no. So they're – okay, so are y'all familiar with a guy named Ben Baldwin on Twitter? He goes Computer Cowboy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So he does a lot of like analytics and different charts and graphics and whatnot for the NFL. He like does some work for the Athletic and things like that. He said, here is my best data-driven guess at how good each team's offensive line might be expected to be in pass protection given its 5 projected starters. So not run blocking, but just pass protection. And he has the Panthers 3rd in the NFL for 2023.
Okay.
Based on their starters. So
Great for Bryce.
they project to have a good offensive line. He's got the Eagles 1, Packers, and then the Panthers, and then your Lions, Rozey, are 6th in his rankings. So
Interesting.
Or
the Cowboys.
not in the top 16.
I don't really understand that.
I
mean, maybe he's projecting Zach Martin not to.
Tyron Smith is really old and can't stay healthy. Zach Martin is holding out for a new contract. I could see
The rest of them are good though. Tyler Smith has come on as a
Tyler
rookie.
Smith is good. Yes, absolutely. They still like have just like a league average center. So I mean, I've been saying this for a little while now. The Cowboys' offensive line is not what it used to be, but he doesn't have him in the top 16.
But yeah, wow. I mean, I think Panthers are primed to win this division. I don't know if we want to talk about that now, but they're my pick.
Interesting.
And I was forgetting, Terrence Steele the right tackle position for the Cowboys. So I agree with you, Rozey. We're going to get to it when we go through our over-under predictions. But I want to take it a step further for the Panthers. Could they be a team that not only wins this division, but let's say wins a playoff game in year one at Bryce Young?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we already talked about their defense. Alex touched on it a little bit. Their defense is really good. They have a lot of really good pieces.
Yeah.
J.C. Horn, Brian Burns, and I think Frank Reich is a good coach, and he got screwed out of the Colts. And Bryce Young is easily the best quarterback in this division. So I don't see them as some juggernaut.
No. But could they be a team like? And maybe this isn't a good comparison because I'm not going to be giving enough credit to a team in the AFC South that we're going to talk about on the second half of this podcast. But could they be like the Jaguars last year? Like that was year 2 of Trevor Lawrence, but really I think that was like year 1 of Trevor Lawrence because I'm pretending the Urban Meyer year just didn't happen. And so it's young Trevor Lawrence, it's a new head coach in Doug Peterson. Just like it's a young Bryce Young and a new head coach in Frank Reich. Like, could they be a team where it's like there's already this hype around the Panthers because of Bryce Young, because they've got a good defense, they've got a good coach, like things like that. Could they rattle off? Could we be in like late November and it's like, oh, the Jaguars have won 4 in a row and they're 7-2 or something.
You mean the Panthers?
Or the Panthers, yeah. The Panthers won 4 in a row.
Wrong cat.
Yeah. Thank you. And they're 7-2. Like I feel like I could see that being the Panthers. I don't know if that's going to happen, but it wouldn't shock me if we just saw this just immediate rise under Bryce Young.
I think that's a great comparison. I mean, Frank Reich and Doug Peterson seem like pretty similar coaches. They were both in Philadelphia, both cast out from their original team. And yeah, they could easily do what the Jaguars did last year. I mean, the Jaguars were like what, 9-8 though? Like
Jaguars were 9-8.
Yeah, so I think in this division, I think they can shoot a little bit higher than that. Not pushing for the number 1 seed, but
yeah,
pretty good.
Okay. All right, let's move on to New Orleans. So my big question is just, are like we like collectively like the NFL, NFL fandom, are we all collectively sleeping on the Saints?
I don't know if we're sleeping on the Saints. I mean, I'm a Derek Carr believer, but one thing I really am confused about, what's going to happen with Alvin Kamara? He hasn't been suspended yet. Is he going to be suspended? Like, that's really the big question mark, I think, surrounding the Saints right now.
Sorry. Quick breaking news. People listening to the podcast, you heard me talk about the Rangers early on. And because of when I'm recording this, I'll talk about this as well. But Jeff Wilson said that the Rangers expect Jonah Heim back this season, though he will initially be limited to hitting only left-handed. The plan is to carry 3 catchers, Mitch Garver, Sam Huff, and Austin Hedges until Heim is ready. That's amazing. I'm sorry, just quick tangent. I thought when they traded for Austin Hedges that they did that because they're losing Heim for the year. And
well, it sounds like he's going to be the DH, but I mean, Hedges is the defensive catcher anyways, so.
Well, it says limited to hitting only left-handed because he's a switch hitter. So that's just because of the specific wrist he hurt. They're saying you can't hit right-handed, which is fine. He's got like even splits from both sides. So, okay, sorry. Back to the Saints. You're a Derek Carr believer, but you're curious what's going to happen with Alvin Kamara.
Yeah.
Well, does it matter?
I think it does. I mean, Alvin Kamara is still a top 15 running back when he's on the field, passing and running.
I mean, if you'll remember from the now critically acclaimed Fantasy Football Jeopardy episode of this very podcast, Alvin Kamara made an appearance in, I think it was the icy hot category because, and as he had basically half the time he was like a top 12 running back, and then half the time he was outside the top 40. So like last year, I just feel like
he was hit or miss last year, but that was also because the QB situation was super like shaky.
Yeah, that's fair.
It wasn't. I mean, Andy Dalton was Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
Well, and then you had the whole
shaky.
Taysom Hill experiments, and like you would get a little bit of Jameis in there. So I mean, it wasn't consistent.
Well, after Jameis got hurt. Wait, that was preseason, wasn't it? Or did he play one game?
I thought he played.
Jameis?
I thought he played 1 or 2 games. Maybe not.
Yeah, I can't
That
really
was a whole year
recall.
ago. But I mean, Andy Dalton was pretty solid. Honestly, with Derek Carr, I feel like there's going to be highs and lows with him, as there always are. I don't have a lot of hopes for the Saints.
I think they'll go like 8-9. Say that for the over/under, but 8-9 sounds about right for the Saints.
I just feel like this division's not very strong outside of maybe the Panthers. Derek Carr is a good quarterback. Like, I'm kind of with you, Alex. Like, I think he gets a little too much flack, even though he's decent. And yeah, they might lose Kamara, but they signed Jamal Williams, who led the league in rushing touchdowns last year. They got Kendre Miller as a rookie. Also, word on the street is Michael Thomas is finally healthy for the first time since
And struggling in
Another
camp.
big question, yeah. Is he going to show up?
he's
Guess
healthy
so.
for the first time since Interstellar was in theaters.
Well, he's
But-
healthy for week 1. Past that, we don't know.
True. Was it week 1 last year where he had 2 touchdown catches, had 23 fantasy points, and freaking losers like me who had been holding on to him for 2 seasons was we're back, baby.
Wasn't that the COVID year? Because the last couple years, he's been pretty much inactive, right?
No, that was he played a little bit last year.
I think it was week 1 last year. Hold on,
Okay.
I'm gonna pull it up now because I'm curious. I think it was week 1 last year. Michael Thomas game log. Yeah, week 1. What did I say? 22 fantasy points.
Yeah.
22.7.
Nice.
He had 5 receptions, 57 yards, 2 touchdowns.
It was
And
a
then-
big day for you.
It really was. And then week
Who are they
2,
playing?
Atlanta.
Ah.
Week 2, played against Tampa Bay, had 6 receptions for 65 yards and a touchdown, 18 fantasy points. I was like, oh, man, we're cooking now. Let's go, baby. Comeback season.
You should have sold.
Gets hurt week 3. You don't see him again.
Drat.
Unbelievable. Yeah. I just feel like if the Saints are sneaky good this year and they end up winning this division, it's not going to surprise me.
I mean, yeah, it's a crappy division overall. So honestly,
Well,
I
it
think
was a crappy
winning
division
wouldn't-
last year,
wouldn't-
so
and it's going to stay a crappy division. So any of these teams winning, honestly, wouldn't surprise me. It's sort of like the NFC East every year. Just someone else is going to win.
Yeah. All right. Final question. Atlanta. Is this offense actually going to throw the ball?
Yes.
no.
Alex, give me hope. Tell me why they are.
Just because Desmond Ritter now has the reins. They got Drake London. They got
Kyle
Kyle
Pitts.
Pitts.
They had
There we
them
go.
last year.
They did have them last year, but Desmond Ritter only played 4 games, so he really never got his feet under him. I think this year, full off-season program, learning the playbook, second year in the system. I think it just has to gradually get a little better. I'm with Rozey a little bit. They're still going to lean on the running game a lot. They have 2 great running backs in Tyler Algier and Bijan Robinson, but also Bijan Robinson, one of his best aspects is in the passing game. Screens,
Oh
and
man, he's
little
great in the passing game.
glance and stuff like that. So I think it's not going to be like top 10 like most passes or whatever, but it'll be like league average, maybe a little below, which is better than what they were last year.
So you're telling me that my boy Kyle Pitts' saving is in the hands of Desmond Ritter?
Right now it is, yeah. I don't know if he's going to save it and
Or
he's gonna
Taylor
be like a
Heineke, you
top
don't know.
5 tight end
Hold
or
on,
anything.
hold
like
on. I'll
that,
be right
so
back. I'm going to go refill my drink.
I think you
just-
Yeah,
can
down at first, Andrew.
you can hope Kyle Pitts will be a fringe top 10 tight end with Desmond Ritter. A fringe.
Rozey, why are they not going to throw the ball?
Will they throw it more than last year? Yes, because you can't get much worse than Mariota last year. Mariota was the worst quarterback in the league by a wide margin, and a wide margin is how he missed Kyle Pitts over and over and over again. So I don't have a lot of hope for Desmond Ritter. I think he'll be better than Mariota. I think there's a chance we could see Heineke, but I don't think they're going to pass it all that much. We'll We'll get to my betting picks later, but it has something to do with it.
Okay. All right, let's get into team tiers. So I've come up with a few. Just like last year, we're going to add on to these as we go through these division previews throughout the month of August. The ones I've got so far, tell me what you think. We can add to this list. We can take some out if we're like, okay, these don't make any sense or whatever. So I've got Super Bowl or bust. I don't think that's going to apply to anyone in the NFC South. I've got division favorite, wild card team, living young, wild, and free. This is just, I think this is going to make an appearance in the NFC South. A quarterback away from being for real, and then tanking for Caleb. So we'll start with Tampa Bay. Out of those tiers, where would you slot Tampa Bay?
Tanking for Caleb.
Yeah, tanking for Caleb or Drake May.
Okay, tanking for
I don't
Caleb.
think they'll be that bad. I don't think they have a chance of sniffing number one overall, but
also,
tanking for sure.
I guess the one I need to explain. So, living young, wild, and free is just like the young team with like a rookie quarterback or second-year quarterback, where like there's no expectations. They're trying to build something, and you're just like along for the ride, and you're just hoping you see development. That's that tier. Okay, so Tampa Bay taking for Caleb. Carolina.
Young, wild, and free. Like, there really are no expectations for them, but they could definitely still make the playoffs or even just be in the discussion for winning the division. But right now, I still don't think there's any real expectations for them.
I'm going to go division favorite. As I stated before, I think they're the best team, top to bottom, with the best quarterback.
Okay, so we've got young, wild, and free, and division favorite. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go young, wild, and free as well. Just because I don't think that I wouldn't consider them I wouldn't consider them the favorite. Like, I'm gonna pick them to win this division, but like I look at trying to think of a different. Like when we get to the AFC South, Jacksonville is a division favorite. Like, you couldn't make a case for another team in that division to be the quote-unquote favorite going into the year. But I don't think, like, there's enough of a gap between how I feel about Carolina versus, like, the Saints in order for me to give them that tag. So I'll go young, wild, and free as well. Okay. But I got to mark down both since you're going division favorite, Rozey. Next, we've got New Orleans. I
know what y'all are going to say.
Yeah, tentatively division favorite. I don't like the pick, but I think Derek Carr is a better quarterback than Andy Dalton. I think, their defense is still all right. We'll see what happens with Alvin Kamara, but overall, I think they're going to win the division. But I'm not confident on that. Not betting it or anything.
I'll go with wild card team. I probably feel the best about them to make the playoffs in this division. But I'm not going to say they're division favorite, so I'll go wild card team. Rozey?
Can we have like a mid tier? Because I don't want to say QB away from being real, because I don't think they are. But I also know they're not tanking.
Yeah.
So somewhere in between there. They're not young. They're a pretty old team with bad offensive line, okay defense, and Derek Carr, who has a lot of question marks, in my opinion.
So should we have another tier, call it like the king of mid?
Yeah, I think so.
I love it.
Okay. So you're saying king of mid for the Saints?
Okay. AKA the Kirk Cousins tier.
Oh. No rebuttal today.
He's not here. It'll be okay.
Oh, that was funny. All right, Atlanta. Could I say a quarterback away from being for real?
We have not seen it. If I can talk you off that ledge, I don't think we've seen it with the rest of the team. I think they have a lot of good pieces to be a quarterback away. But, I mean, if it were me, I'd be going living young, wild, and free. Because they have a lot of young players, young quarterback. young offensive line. AJ Terrell needs to bounce back from last season. Arthur Smith in his second year needs to prove that he can be a passing coach as well.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think QB away from being for real is too extreme. So I'll go with Young, Wild, and Free as well. Alex?
Yeah, I'll just go king of mid just because I don't expect him to be terrible.
Great tier name, Andrew.
Thank you.
Top tier name.
Like, I think their running game's obviously going to carry them. I don't know much about their defense, but the reason that I don't know much about their defense is because they're not that spectacular. So I'm just going to go, like, king of mid, like, middle of the pack, maybe a little below that, but
Okay.
I don't know. I don't have much beliefs in them.
All right. One fantasy guy to watch from each team. So the guy that I came up with is for Tampa Bay. I've got tight end Cade Otton. And you likely have not, maybe you've heard of him, but I guarantee you haven't, he's not a big name during the offseason. But if you go look at the depth chart, he is tight end 1.
Yep.
Someone's going to catch passes from the tight end position.
And Baker loves to throw to the tight end position. Absolutely loves it.
And I don't think that the Tampa Bay offense is going to set the world on fire. But the tight end game is if you don't have one of the top 5 or 6 guys, you're basically rolling the dice and trying to see if you can get decent production on a week-to-week basis. And I think Cade Otton can get that for you on some weeks. I don't think he's going to be a top 5 guy or anything, but especially if you're in redraft leagues and you're in leagues where streaming options at tight end are an actual thing. They're not really a thing in Dynasty. I think Cade Otton's going to be a very, very popular streaming tight end. So that's my fantasy guy to watch.
Dynasty too. I think he's going. I mean, in redraft, he's going as the 32nd tight end off the board.
32nd.
And I imagine in Dynasty, he's pretty cheap. He was good last year.
He's not going to be the 32nd tight end.
Yeah, I expect mid-tier, 15, 16.
I mean, just last year, he was the tight end 26, and that was with O.J. Howard and some other that was with
And
other
he was
guys.
a rookie.
Yeah, and he was a rookie. Rookie tight ends never do anything. So that's my pick. I think he's going to be a decent player for them.
You want me to go next?
Sure.
I got Chris Godwin, my boy. He's always been my boy since he had that number 1 or number 2 overall finish at the wide receiver position. I think he's just an extremely good wide receiver. And last year was kind of rough because he was coming off of that ACL and had the hamstring injury, and then Tom Brady sucked. But he was still wide receiver 18. I can't see a world where Godwin is finishing outside the top 20, and he's ranked right now 31.
Wow.
So he's just too good. I don't care how bad the quarterback is. He is too good to be a wide receiver 3. I think he'll be like DK Metcalf last year.
Okay.
All right. I can see the vision. Okay.
I'm going to go on the other side. I'm going to go Mike Evans. Just because, he's a vet. And the one thing Baker Mayfield loves to do is take chances like jump balls and stuff like that. And that's what Mike Evans excels at. Deep balls, jump balls, stuff like that. And I think he's also just going to ball out to try and get traded because I think that's just where he's at in his career. So I'm expecting a big career or a big season from Mike Evans.
Okay. I like that one. All right. So we've got tight end and 2 wide receivers. All right. Going to Carolina. I went with Adam Thielen. And Rozey's shaking his head. And it's probably because he's saying, dude, he's an old white wide receiver. Those, they fall off cliffs.
I'm not talking about his skin color, Andrew. But he is washed white as snow.
That was good.
Oh, boy.
You know what Adam Thielen is, though? He is a veteran receiver who does all the little things well. He's not gonna have the mental mistakes. And I have seen on so many occasions where those kind of players end up being favorites of a young quarterback because the young quarterback wants a player that they can trust, or they know where that player is going to be on every route. They know when they're going to be there, and they're just very dependable. And I don't think Adam Thielen's going to be, top 12 guy or anything. But I think he still has one more solid, wide receiver 2 season in him. Just because I think he's going to get a lot of volume in Carolina, and I think Bryce Young's going to throw into him. And if he just has a little bit more touchdowns than he had last year, then you're talking about a pretty decent fantasy season.
He's old. I think he lost a step last year. I think it's gonna be hard for him to see the field.
See the field? Who's going to be above him?
Does he have bad eyes or something? What do you mean?
Maybe his eyes are going up too.
I don't know. I think he's got one more old man still got it season in him, and then he's done. Because also,
like Jimmy Graham.
Think about it. They signed him to what, a 3-year deal or something? It was a 2 or 3 year contract.
Really?
Yeah. Hold on. I'm pulling it up right now. I got Spot Track pulled up.
He's not. I don't think he's crazy old. Maybe 31. I don't know.
They signed him to a 3-year, $25 million contract.
Wow.
So they're going to use him. They didn't just sign him to be a locker room guy.
I think the perfect comp for him is Julian Edelman. He's just there. He knows what he's doing. He's going to run the right routes and do the right thing.
Why did you comp him to Julian Edelman, Alex? Any particular reason?
They're about the same. I think he's 2 inches taller, but close
Is
enough.
it the same reason why every good, scrappy, white NBA player gets comped to Alex Caruso?
They got sneaky speed.
Or I guess Austin Reeves
What's
now.
sneaky about it?
You don't see it coming.
All right. So I had Thielen. Who wants to go next?
I guess.
Do you have one, Alex?
Hold on.
I
mine's pretty easy. I'm going Bryce Young. His football IQ is insane. His passing's going to be okay, but I also am really intrigued about his escapability and his rushing ability. The only thing I'd be worried about that is I hope he's perfected his sliding technique because he's small. You don't want to take any hits on the body with that, but overall, I think he's going to have a great first year as a rookie. And I'd expect top 15 for quarterbacks.
Yeah, I already said he's going to be top 10. The only
did.
way...
Yeah, I didn't want to go that high, but
The only way I can't see him getting there is injury. And in a dynasty conversation, that's the only thing that worries me about him, is that he is small.
Needs to perfect that baseball slide.
Yeah, I think in Alabama, he took some hits too. He welcomes contact more than he should, being a man of that stature.
Yes.
Being a man of that stature. Normally you say that about someone who's very tall, but you're saying that about Tiny Tim.
Yes. Well, I'm taller than him, so that's not a good thing.
Yeah. All right. Who's your guy, Rozey?
Mine's Hayden Hurst. They brought him in this offseason. He had a pretty good season with the Bengals last year. An injury towards the end of the season. He missed some games. But he's always been a solid tight end, and now there's reports of them wanting to feature him in the passing game. And I think that he's a good enough playmaker that he will do well with those touches. And in fantasy, you want tight ends that can either be the first or second target on their team. And Hayden Hurst has it wide open. So,
Okay. Yeah, no, I like that. I like that pick a lot. New Orleans, I went with the rookie, running back Kendre Miller. We talked about the uncertainty with Alvin Kamara. I know they got Jamal Williams, but if Kamara's, missing a few games, or maybe he's missing the whole season or whatever, that opens up some opportunity for Kendre Miller, and
Yeah.
I could see him having the fantasy equivalent of a Tyler Algier last year. like a solid fantasy season. He's not going to be a league winner, but he could end up down the stretch being like a decent flex option. That's kind of my expectation for him.
I don't like it.
Yeah, just because Jamal Williams is going to get all the goal line touches, because that's his specialty right there.
Yeah, I mean, it could be the case. Jamal Williams, I still would like to think that last season was an anomaly for him. The same way I would think that last season was an anomaly for like Jerick McKinnon, where he was like the number 2 running back in like the final 6 weeks of the season. Don't think we're going to see that again.
Jerry McKinnon's actually good, though.
Jamal Williams is good. He's good too. I like him. Good guy, at least.
Yeah.
No, he's dead to me.
Whoa.
I mean, you guys didn't re-sign him. What's wrong?
They offered him, I think, 13 or 14 million, and he said that was insulting to him.
That?
Yeah, he said no. He said it was insulting, and he signed for 12 million with the Saints. So,
Yeah.
his career's done. Goodbye, anime boy.
Facts.
There you go. Yeah, so I got Kendre Miller. Who do you have, Rozey?
I got Rashid Shaheed. If you haven't heard of him, he was the deep threat rookie last year who came onto the scene. I remember watching that. I can't remember who they were playing, but I remember watching the first game where he caught a bomb touchdown from Andy Dalton. And you're like, oh, man, that guy's pretty good. Should I pick him up? He'll be all right. And then the next few weeks, he just kept doing it. And he has elite speed. He's one of the favorites at camp right now. He's young. I don't have a lot of faith in Michael Thomas staying healthy for the whole season. So there's a wide receiver 2 slot open. And I think Rashid Shaheed's good enough to take that spot.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, if he can grab the opportunities, they're going to be there for him. So I could see him having a nice little breakout season. I don't hate that. I don't hate your fantasy picks like you hate mine, but it's okay.
I'm trying to teach you.
You jerk.
Just trying to help me.
Alex, who do you have?
I'm going to go Taysom Hill.
Oh, my gosh.
One, just because Derek Carr is going to pass
fast.
He's going to pass it 40 times a game.
He's got that feeling build.
Especially if Alvin Kamara isn't playing. And 2, if Alvin Kamara isn't playing, like Taysom Hill is going to get some carries in the backfield. And also, Derek Carr loves the tight end position. He fed Darren Waller when he was healthy with the Raiders. And I think he's going to do the same thing with Taysom Hill.
You mean Jimmy Graham?
Jimmy Graham's the 3rd string tight end. He might pop up on a goal line set or something, but
he's been torching DBs at camp right now.
He didn't even play
that
last
tweet.
year.
I don't buy it.
Yeah, he's finally healthy, Alex. Come on.
Oh
True,
my
I guess
gosh.
you're
Old
off.
man just needs a nap.
A year off might have helped him, maybe. We'll see.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Next up, we've got betting picks. We each have come up with a bet that we like about.
What about the Falcons?
Oh, the Falcons. Thank you. See, yeah, you got to keep me on track. I like it. I'm going with my guy. I can't not. It's Kyle Pitts.
You're in too deep, Andrew.
Kyle Pitts is my kryptonite. I just can't. I can't quit him. And there was a clip that went viral from like a day or 2 ago from training camp, where Kyle Pitts was running a route, got like 5 yards of separation on his defender, and the ball was thrown behind him, and he like reached back and like just got his hands on it. He wasn't able to come up with a catch, and it was like if the quarterback could just hit him in stride, it was a touchdown. And I'm just like, I'm so scared that we're just in for another year of like Kyle Pitts not being able to get the ball, but I'm hoping that it changes this year. So I'm giving it one more year before I'm willing to jump ship.
Where are you drafting him?
And like a redraft or like
Yeah, redraft.
I'd probably take him
Like, are you taking Kittle or are you taking Pitts?
Probably Kittle. You know what? He's probably my 5th tight end that I'm taking in a redraft league. I think it's Kelsey. I think it's Andrews. Then I think it's Kittle. And then honestly, I think it's Hawkinson. And then I think it's Pitts. And then like Pat Freiermuth and Goddard right behind him. So I want him to be good so bad because I know how talented he is. Like I feel like I'm Rozey right now. Like I have this player that like I know the potential's there, but it's not being used to his full potential, and it's driving me nuts.
I think what you should hope for is that the Falcons just suck and they need to trade him to a better team with a better offense and a better QB, and then he'll thrive.
I don't know.
I like that.
You don't know?
Could you imagine Kyle Pitts on like the Chiefs? Or could you imagine
Could
him
you
on like
imagine
the
Kyle
Bengals?
Pitts on the Cowboys with
Dude,
Dak?
what are you doing to me?
I mean,
That
that's
would
sort
be
of like
that'd be filthy.
Yeah, like we need to see him be good first, though, guys. Like, come on.
I mean, he's an athletic freak, so he
He had 1,000
see
yards
it.
rookie season as a tight end. First guy since
it was not
the
a very
60s.
good 1,000 yards. I'll say that. And he was like the only option there. Like they didn't have anyone else to throw to. I need to see it first with Pitts. We've been hyped up about him too long. I'm not sure if Arthur Smith wants to even use him correctly. They just have him run 9 routes all the way down the field. They don't feature him in the pass.
This is why he needs a trade.
It's
It's being used.
Imagine
incorrectly.
him in like the Evan Ingram role in Jacksonville.
I mean, this is what happened with Evan Ingram. Like the Giants didn't use him for what he was, and then he moved to Jacksonville, and all of a sudden he's good again.
he was kind of hurt. That's why they didn't use him.
That's true.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Betting picks, or no, Rozey, your pick. Sorry. I want.
I got to beat John Robinson, man. I moved him up in my draft rankings to running back 2.
Overall,
Yeah, overall.
like dynasty.
Oh, and Dynasty was already 1.
Okay. Just redraft.
In
Okay.
redraft, he's right behind CMC for me. And honestly, give me a couple more of those juicy slot routes, and I'm moving him up to number 1. Oh my gosh, man. He's so good. He's so good at everything. I'm excited.
I'd like to see it first, personally.
You see it in training camp.
Yeah, Bijan's a good one. Alex, who do you have?
Well, I'm just gonna go Drake London. Like, really, he's the only receiver on the Falcons. I mean, last year he had 866 yards, 72 receptions, 4 touchdowns. Let's hope those touchdowns go up a little bit. Second year in the offense, still only 22. And first year really with Desmond Ridder as his full-time quarterback, so maybe they have a little bit of better chemistry. We'll see, but I'm just gonna go Drake London because he's really their only receiver.
He's going as wide receiver 25 right now.
That sounds about right.
No way, man. Like, I see A.J. Brown in him. Like, yeah, this team is not going to pass a lot, but Drake London is one of the best receivers in the NFL, in my opinion. And,
Okay. Sheesh.
like, he will finish better than
You
25.
think he's like top 15?
I think so, yeah. I'm going to be drafting him everywhere. And I'm going to be trying to get him in Dynasty if I can.
Yeah, I mean 6'4", athletic freak. That's what you want.
Okay. All right. I think now we're ready for betting picks.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
I just got the okay from Craig, so we're gonna do betting picks. All right. I'm going with this one. It feels too easy, but Bijan Robinson over 1,075.5 yards, rushing yards on the season. Tyler Algier got over 1,000 yards.
He got over 1,000 yards?
Yes,
Wow, okay. Like total or rushing?
rushing.
Did not know that.
I'm gonna look it up right now, but I'm almost positive. Yeah, he had 1,035 yards on the ground. So if you think that Bijan Robinson is 41 yards better than Tyler Algier, then this seems like a no-brainer. Because if
Yeah, this one's easy.
Tyler Algier, like I saw the line and it was 1,075, I was like, is that right? Is that real? I like made sure it wasn't like receiving yards for some reason, but no, it's rushing yards. So
What are the odds? Do you know?
So I'm trying to pull it up real quick because I didn't write down the odds for it. I only wrote down the prop. But I'll pull it up here real quick.
It has to be minus.
It was minus. It was like minus 130 or something, maybe. Oh wait, here we go. Atlanta Falcons. Oh, I thought it'd be there. Okay, I'll have to keep looking. I'll pull it up and we'll come back to it. But yeah, basically having a Tyler Algier season just seemed a little too easy. So I'm going to go with that.
Solid.
What do you have, Alex?
Betting picks. All right, I'm going. It's the NFC South exact order. And it's plus 800. I got the Panthers in first, the Saints in second, the Falcons in third, and the Buccaneers bringing up the rear in fourth. Plus 800.
Panthers.
I'd flip Falcons, Saints, but
So you have
it's not bad
Panthers, Saints, Falcons, Bucks.
Yep.
And what are the odds?
Plus 800.
Plus 800. Okay, so the Bijan line has moved from when I pulled it up yesterday. When I pulled it up yesterday, it was 1,075, and now it's 1,125.5. So it's gone up 50 yards. I think I'd still take it. It's minus 115, so it's like even money. I think I'd still do it. I think I would. So, okay. So, hold on. Let me think through this. So, you have Panthers, Saints, Falcons, Bucks. Rozey,
Yeah.
you say flip the Falcons and the Saints. I mean, I like that. What odds do you get if you just take – I'm going to pull it up real quick. What odds do you get if you just take the Panthers to win the division? And
Just
you
the
don't,
Panthers to win the division.
let's see, AFC South
That'd be plus 325.
or NFC South plus 325.
yeah, that's pretty good.
Not
So
bad.
about half the odds of. Okay, I like that though. I mean, I could definitely see it. I like playing around. I like always sprinkling a little bit on like those exact orders, just because it makes it more interesting. Like,
Yeah.
it'll be like a week 15 game between the Falcons and the Bucks, and you're like, okay, I need the Bucks to win this game, and then you're like trying to map it all out.
Or week
Yeah,
17,
like already at a playoff
Lions,
contention.
Packers.
Like, why do you care about this game?
Yeah, week 17 Lions Packers exactly.
for Trent's exact order.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, he hit on that.
Oh, that was electric. I forgot about that. Yeah. Okay, Rozey, what's yours?
I got Desmond Ritter under 2,525.5 passing yards.
You're going under that? I
I
thinking
think there's a chance he gets
over.
benched. I think
Okay.
Arthur Smith and
Well, who's the
GM,
backup?
Taylor Heineke.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Arthur Smith and the GM need to start winning games before they get fired, and I think they're going all in. That's why they traded for Okuda and drafted Bijan in the first place. So if they start losing games and Ritter, I don't trust that guy. I can see them switching to Heineke. And even if Ritter starts the whole season, he's not going to pass for a lot of yards. So I feel pretty comfortable with minus
Okay.
2,500.
Under 2,500, and it's at minus 110.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, final prediction for the division order. So we're going to do this like we did last year. We have an odd number here, so we're going to go consensus to make our total division order for the NFC South. So who do we have winning this division?
Panthers.
Alex?
Yeah.
That was your bet.
Yeah, I'll go Panthers just because it's my bet.
I'm sure bet.
And the Saints odds are just too close to even for me. I'll go Panthers.
Okay, I'm going Panthers as well. Not like it would have mattered, but and then I'm going Saints second.
Same.
Falcons.
Okay.
I think Saints are gonna be bad.
So and then third, do we have the Falcons? Is our
Yeah.
order
Yeah,
basically
yeah.
Alex's bet and then Bucks 4?
Yep.
Okay.
Sounds right. See?
All right,
Plus
final
800,
thing,
folks.
and then we'll hear from our friends at Liquid IV and then go to the AFC South. Making our picks for the over-under for all these teams. Now that we've kind of talked about all the different things that there is to talk about all these teams. New Orleans, are you going over-under or 9?
Under.
Under.
I'm going under as well. Hold on, so under is going to be all. Falcons over-under 8.5.
Under.
I see them winning either 8 or 9 games.
I know. I'm going under. I don't think they get to 9.
I'll go over.
Okay. So me and Alex over
No, under. We're
or
under.
under. Yes, thank you. Rozey over. Okay. Panthers over under 7.5.
Over.
I'm going over as well.
Yeah, over. Just barely. Probably 9 wins.
Okay.
Maybe 8.
7.5 feels a little bit too low. I bet that moves up to 8.5 before the season starts. Get some more juice on it. And then finally, Bucks over under 6.5.
I'll go over.
Yeah, me too. I think they'll win 7 games.
Yep.
Just for my boy Baker.
All right, I'm going under. I think they win 4. All right, Rosie and Alex.
Are they your favorite for number 1 overall?
No, Cardinals.
Either them or the Cardinals. Depends on when Kyler comes back. Personally. So, although I was hearing some stuff that apparently Gannon has like completely changed the culture in Arizona, and it's been like a
Yeah,
huge
that's not hard to
culture
do.
shock. Yeah, since Kingsbury. So maybe the Cardinals will be sneaky. Who knows?
I
But-
think they'll be okay.
Yeah,
Personally.
I could see it. All right, is that it? Anything else for the NFC South? Okay, let's go to the AFC South. Before we do, let me tell you about our friends at Liquid IV. So you've heard me talk about their brand new sugar-free line of hydration multipliers that they've got. I actually just finished. I need to throw away the bag that's behind me. I'm going to replace it here at the end of this week. But I just finished my package of the sugar-free lemon lime, and it was delicious. But I want to go through. I'm trying to try all the sugar-free options that they've got there at Liquid IV. So literally yesterday, ordered a fresh package of the white peach sugar-free hydration multiplier, and that's going to be coming in by the end of this week. Like Liquid IV is so good. I ordered it like last night. Got an email this morning that it shipped. Like they're so fast with their online shipping. You get the free shipping when you use our code. It's amazing. It keeps you hydrates you twice as fast as water alone, has 3 times the electrolytes as traditional sports drinks. You know all the facts. You've heard us talk about them. We love them. We're so happy to be partnering with them here on Making the Call. Go try Liquid IV today and get 20% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use code MTC at checkout. I use code MTC at checkout, got 20% off. You can too. It's 20% off anything you order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code MTC at liquidiv.com. Alrighty. AFC South Division. How 2022 went for these 4 teams. Jacksonville was 9-8. They won the wild card round against the Chargers. Lost the divisional round versus the Chiefs. Tennessee was 7-10 and missed the playoffs. Indianapolis was 4-12-1. They missed the playoffs. And Houston was 3-13-1, and they also missed the playoffs. How this division has changed. I mean, this is like all the rookie quarterbacks, basically. Outside of Jacksonville. They're going to be adding wide receiver Calvin Ridley to their offense. Tennessee drafted Mayo boy Will Levis to eventually take over for Ryan Tannehill. Indianapolis drafted their quarterback of the future in Anthony Richardson. And Houston's trying to start a new chapter in their franchise, bringing in head coach DeMeco Ryan and adding some high draft picks in quarterback C.J. Stroud and edge Will Anderson. Do we think that this division got better, worse, or stayed the same from 2022?
Better.
Yeah, in theory, better, obviously. A lot of young talent unknown, but better on paper.
Rozey, what's this trade you just sent me?
Uh-oh. Live
You
trade.
said you wanted Kate Otten.
Yeah, not for Drake London.
Don't make it sound like that was it straight
Okay,
up.
sorry. You were going to give me Kate Otten and Jerry Jeudy for Drake London. No deal.
Some people would love that trade.
Yeah, Mrs. Jeudy.
Terrible.
This is Judy. He doesn't. He's not married. Come on.
His mama.
Oh, okay.
No deal. Decline.
Dang.
Goodness. So you guys think the division's gotten better?
Yes.
Yes.
I think so too. I mean, yeah, you've got a lot of rookie quarterbacks, but Jacksonville, I think, is going to take another step. And if just one of goodness sake, Indianapolis and Houston can't get much worse than they were last year. So if one of those teams wins 5 games, then it's an improvement.
I don't know about Indy. Tough.
Yeah, I'm not sure about Indy either.
I don't know if they're going to be a great team unit this year.
We're going to talk about it.
Ugh.
Don't you worry.
Oh, boy.
In
All
terms
right.
of number 1 overall, I think they're one of my favorites.
Yeah, I'd take them over the
Indy, really?
Bucks.
And that will be a very fun conversation if they have the number 1 overall pick and Caleb Williams is there after drafting Anthony Richardson. Hey, let's have both. Put Anthony Richardson at running back.
Yeah.
I have not even considered this, that one of the teams who just drafted their quarterback of the future could still be in conversation for Caleb Williams or Drake May, but you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I mean, Houston won't because they traded their first-round pick to Arizona.
Right.
Arizona, we've talked about. Tampa Bay, we've talked about. But, yeah, if you're Indianapolis, oh, boy. That's
You can also get Marvin Harrison. I think they're praying for that.
Marvin Harrison is decent, isn't he?
Yeah, he's all right.
He's only literally good at everything at the wide receiver position.
He's incredible. I can't wait for him to get to the NFL.
He's gonna be. He's crazy, man. All right, one big question for each of these AFC South teams, starting with Jacksonville. Can the Jags propel themselves to the group of Super Bowl contenders in the AFC?
No.
No.
I feel like their hype has gotten a little overblown. They were not a good team last year. Yes, they almost beat a beat-up Chargers team. Or they did beat a beat-up Chargers team in the playoffs. But before that, they were 9-8. Trevor Lawrence was up and down. Their defense is rough. I don't think they have a lot of good players. Just a lot of question marks all over the team. And I like Trevor Lawrence. I think he will make this team a winning team, but not to where he's up there with Chiefs, Bills, Bengals.
Could Jacksonville be up there with the Ravens and the Chargers? That next tier?
Bottom
Yeah.
of that, I would say. Yeah.
Bottom of
That
that.
sounds about right.
Yeah.
Barring crazy injuries.
I mean, let's be honest, though, guys. If Tannehill was healthy that whole year last year, Titans were going to win this division. You had games at the very end of the year where Malik Willis threw for 50 yards, or it was Josh Dobbs, right? He was there. He got flown in, and then the next day he played, kind of thing. If Tannehill was there, they were winning the division.
I mean, you kind of saw a similar progression of Trevor Lawrence where he really started to turn it on in the back half of the year. If I'm looking at his fantasy points aren't everything, but let's just look at interceptions. So bye week was week 11. In weeks 1 through 10, he had 6 interceptions, and then in the final 7 weeks, he had 2. So I mean, Trevor Lawrence did get better as the year went on. So if you're assuming that he is going to be starting the year in a similar place where he ended last year, then I don't know. I'm pretty bullish on the Jaguars.
Well, I want to make it clear. Like, I love Trevor Lawrence. I think he's really good,
Yeah.
but this team's not good. The rest of his team is not very good.
What makes you say that?
Offensive line's mid to low tier,
Okay.
and their defense gives up a lot of points. And
They got good skill position guys though.
they could have good skill position guys.
Didn't
And
their
I
defense play a little better down the stretch too? Like maybe they found something.
kinda. Let me see who they were playing at the end of the year, because I feel like that would be pretty telling. Like, they're not the worst for sure. They're not the
Yeah.
worst, but in terms of like being in the same tier as the Ravens and Chargers, yeah. But are they like really good? I don't see it yet. I don't think they're a lock for this division.
Okay. I mean I think they're one of the better locks to win their division of any team in the NFL this next season.
Vegas would agree. They're minus 160 right now. So
Yeah.
60 cents on every dollar you bet.
All right. Question for Tennessee. What's the week of the season where we start the Will Levis watch? If it's not week 1.
I don't even know what Tennessee's trying to do this year. They're just a wait and see type of team to me.
I love how they drafted. It was one of my favorite drafts, getting Peter Skoronski and then getting Will Levis, not having to swap him, because you weren't going to get a good offensive lineman at 33. I
No.
think is where they picked them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think getting them two will really help this team. Adding DeAndre Hopkins, let's not forget about that. I think he immediately bolsters the wide receiving room to something pretty decent. And then I think on top of all of it, Coach Vrabel, I think he's one of the best coaches in the league. I can see him doing what Mike Tomlin did last year with the Steelers. Like, yeah, maybe it's not the best team, but they'll be pretty good. I think he'll have his guys playing to their max. But I guess to answer your question, when do we see Will Levis? I think really late in the season.
You think so?
If at
I
all,
will
to be
state that
honest.
I'm a big Will Levis guy. He's had a rough training camp so far, has started to improve. Tannehill is still a really good quarterback. He was not bad last year. He was hurt.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Hold on. We need a pause right there. I need to call my sister. She just tried calling me. Her car broke down.
Graciana,
Yeah. Let me see what's going on with that, and then
pause.
I'll come back on.
Patient
I'm gonna mute,
identification.
and then I'll come back.
What?
Oh, Graciana.
I've honestly never heard his sister's name.
Really?
Yeah.
She's a nurse or something. She went to Bama. Roll Tide.
How do you know her?
Oh, I've known Andrew forever, so I've known the whole family for a while. Used to do this cookie day thing in like December during Christmas, back when we played baseball and all that crap. So I know his whole
Wait,
family.
how do y'all know each other? I thought
We
y'all knew
played
each other from like Call of Duty.
No. We played baseball in grade school, like middle
Oh.
school, start of high school, stuff like that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we've both lived in McKinney forever, so
That's awesome.
it is. It's a bummer you're not in Dallas right now. We're going to the Rangers game with Austin tomorrow.
Oh, I'd be down. I just,
Still stuck in. You're in Abilene, right?
yeah. I'll be in Abilene for forever. I'm never.
Yeah, especially with your new job and shit.
Yeah. I'll probably be at First Financial for forever too. We'll see though.
Are you excited for Seahawks Lions week 2
I am.
rematch? Still, it's in
It,
Detroit again. I think we're gonna
Alex.
lose that game.
No, I'm pretty sure last year was in Seattle.
I could have sworn it was in Detroit again, but maybe you're right.
I'm usually wrong about those things. I think Seattle Detroit is very quickly becoming a rivalry.
Yeah, I mean it's gonna be another close game. They're pretty similar teams.
I mean,
You
y'all beat
listened
us.
to Part of My Take? They had Dan Campbell on Monday. You had a great interview with them.
Talking about how you wanted a line on
Yep,
the field.
yep. The No Fun League said no.
Yeah, that would have been awesome, man. We're winning the Super Bowl if that happened.
I love Dan Campbell. He's a great interview and a great football dude.
Yeah, he's great. But it's just like y'all beat us in
Yeah, there were a couple
in a
like
shootout, and
questionable.
then at the end of the season, the refs gave you the win against the Rams.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, I mean DK earned it. He he had that one-on-one against Jalen Ramsey in the end zone. He earned it on that, but the refs did set it up. I'll agree with that. I mean, it didn't really matter. We got our asses kicked against the 49ers.
It was that in Detroit.
Yeah, which
You're right.
that's sort of weird. Back-to-back years in Detroit, but whatever.
That is kind of weird. But then Seahawks take Devin Witherspoon, and I think Lions would love Devin Witherspoon.
Yeah, I saw it today. He was like, Richard Sherman was at camp with them, and Richard Sherman was like taking him under his wing and stuff. I'm excited about that. They had him at nickel a lot. I don't know if he's going to be outside to start.
Nickel? Why?
Because he's more of a physical type of guy than coverage, so he's
They'll
hit
have him playing like Jalen Ramsey, kind of.
Yeah. I mean, eventually, I'm sure he'll pop outside just because he's got size like that. But we shall see. We have a lot of young cornerbacks, so the competition is strong there.
I don't know if Woolen's going to have as good of a season this year.
Who?
Woolen?
Yeah, I mean, just because last year he had a lot of picks, and some of those picks were sort of luck, just tip passes, and he was right there. But
yeah,
we shall see.
I mean, him being as fast as he is awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to week 3 up in Seattle. They play the Panthers. I'll be there.
All right, I'm back.
Oh, nice.
I think my dad's gonna help her out, so
Scott to the rescue.
we can just pick up with big question for Indianapolis and then go from there. So I'm gonna hit new recording. You're gonna have to reload Zencaster, and then we'll go. If she calls me while we're podcasting, I might just like put up my hand and mute myself, and then let you guys continue, and then I'll jump back in.
All right.
Okay. You sure you want to be drinking?
Yeah, I feel totally fine. It's one glass of whiskey.
That doesn't get you.
No, because I only filled it up to like there.
Like a finger and a half.
Yeah, like that much.
Are we back? No one said anything.
Can you hear us?
Nope. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Am I not speaking right? What's going on?
We can hear you.
Something's going on.
We can hear you, but you
What is
can't
going on?
hear us.
Oh, that's a home run to deep left center field. God.
Can you hear us?
I don't know how to say that.
Does he have his headphones in?
I'm gonna call him.
Is it because he doesn't have his headphones in?
Am I the one that's muted? What's going on?
4, 6, 9, 7, 6.
Answer your phone.
Am I muted? What's going on? I'm
Tell
in the
him to put his
Zencaster.
headphone-
Put on your headphones.
I don't have headphones.
Okay, hold on. Grace Anna's calling me.
Oh,
Okay.
Hey,
No,
So you're okay? Okay.
Yep.
So you broke
you hear me?
down, huh?
It's working now?
Can you hear me?
No, it's
Do
not.
you have to work tomorrow?
Oh, shit. Back to back for the Braves, though.
That's good. Gonna go buy a car?
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system.
Oh no.
4, 6.
Jeez,
Can
I'm
you hear me?
sorry, Grace Hannah. I feel bad. You called me while I was podcasting. I figured you wanted to like get dinner or something.
Rosie, can you hear Andrew on the Zencaster?
Yeah, it's just you.
It's just me. That's weird.
How do you listen to us?
Yeah.
Well, just
How
the
close is he?
computer audio.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know.
Let me just try and click the link again. Maybe that'll work.
That's a good idea.
Obviously, we're first. Yeah.
Okay.
Microphone's good. Speaker's
Okay.
good.
Can you hear me?
Well, let us
Yeah,
know.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Must have been a glitch.
Okay. Let me know whenever Dad gets there.
Sweet.
Yeah, I
All
think
right, love you
Andrew's
too,
on the
bye.
phone. All right, he's coming back.
Alex, did you get your crap figured out?
Yeah, I
What?
don't know what. I mean, I don't know why it didn't work.
Wait, what'd you say?
Huh?
Huh?
I can't hear you. What?
Red eye.
Man, you can talk for a while without making any sound.
All right.
What'd she break down at?
Custer 121.
Oof.
Yeah, she's been needing a new car for like 3 months. So, all right, let's get this thing going, because it's 8:30. I'm just gonna start
When
recording.
did we start?
7.
Like 7:20.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. I'm just gonna hit start recording. It's gonna count down from 3, and then I'm just gonna start.
Okay.
All right, one big question about Indianapolis. What will Anthony Richardson look like as a passer in year 1, specifically as a passer? Because I think that's where all the question marks are with him. What are our expectations?
I think he's gonna have a pretty deep ball. I don't know if it's gonna be amazing, but that's his strength right there. It's just his deep ball ability and his escape ability, but that's not passing game wise. So we'll talk about that later.
You don't know.
I think he will develop into a good quarterback. First year, though, I think it's going to be pretty rough.
Yeah, I'd be concerned if he can't escape out of the pocket and has to be forced to be a pocket passer. That would be my one concern.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's going to be rough. I think we're looking at like a 53% completion percentage or something. Like, I think
Yeah,
it's going to look
it'll be a
really
little
bad at
wild.
times, but he can definitely improve. I mean, that's the name of the game, right? So
What did Cam Newton do his rookie year?
from
I think it was about sort of the same, like hovering around 60% completion percentage, mostly a running quarterback, which he was basically his whole career. But
so he was whatever his completion percentage was. Let's see, 280 divided by 485. Oh, it was not typing for me. It said results undefined.
oh no, I think it's a good
Yeah,
comp though.
21
Anthony
touchdowns,
Richardson.
17 interceptions.
58% completion percentage.
Yeah, so I think that's a really good comp, honestly. Anthony Richardson's might be a little bit of Cam Newton 2.0. Like, maybe not as good as Cam Newton got, but rookie year, I could see it.
Yeah, I feel like he'll have more interceptions than passing touchdowns and a bad completion percentage. I think he'll be fine for fantasy, though. I think you'll see, like, Justin Fields' production.
Yeah.
I think you're right. All right, Houston. Could this team actually surprise some people this year? Like they're
Well,
No.
what are people expecting?
They're a 7-win team.
Well, their win total is 6.5.
Yeah, that's about right.
Could they win 9 games?
No,
No.
No.
I just don't trust Houston.
I mean,
Bad
they've got
organization.
C.J. Stroud, they've got Will Anderson, they've got D'Amico Ryan as the head coach. They're
Dameon
getting
Pierce.
Mechie back. They've got Damian Pierce. Like, they've got some guys. They've got Derek Stingley as a cornerback.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
some
got some
unproven guys does not make a team.
Yeah, they don't have all the pieces. Like, there'll be some gaps in the defense and offense.
I think they'll be better than 6.5.
Yeah,
I
think
agree
about-
with Alex.
7 and 10 sounds about right for them.
I'm not a
Maybe
CJ
8,
Stroud
9.
guy. I don't think that he's
You're
that
not a
good,
Stroud boy.
but he has to be better than Davis Mills last year. He
Stroud
has
boy?
to be.
It can't be worse.
Yeah, it can't be worse than that.
Yeah.
Davis Mills wasn't even terrible,
He
wasn't
pretty
good.
bad.
but
He
he
was-
was
All
all
right,
right.
sat
He
for,
converted that 4th down completion in Week 18 to give Chicago the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, the Bears love that.
legend.
I heard that
Bears legend.
I heard that they're opening up a new giraffe exhibit in the Chicago Zoo in his honor.
That's a burn.
Oh boy.
Yeah. All right, team tiers. So we've got to remind you from the previous segment, we've got Super Bowl or bust, division favorite, wild card team, living young, wild, and free, a quarterback away from being real, tanking for Caleb, and king of mid. So
Man, we're not going to talk about a single Super Bowl or bust team this week. I'm
no,
just going to say that right now.
no, we're not. I mean, maybe Houston, but I need to see it first. So what tier do we think Jacksonville falls under?
I'll go wild card team. I think they'll definitely make the playoffs.
Yeah, fringe playoff contender with some upside, but they're not going to beat the Chiefs in the playoffs, so they're not making the Super Bowl or anything.
I think with what you were saying, Andrew, about the Panthers and the other division, kind of is how I'm feeling about the Jaguars. I'm a little bit more confident in the Panthers to win their division than I am of the Jags. And I feel like that's a really hot take.
It is. No, it is. One's
But-
minus 160, one's plus 375 or something.
I think the teams in this division are better than the teams in NFC South. And yeah, I guess the Titans are good enough, I think, to challenge the Jags to where I'm not completely confident that they're going to win the division.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going with division favorite. I think they're the far and away division favorite in this division, and so I'll zag a little bit on the Jags, or maybe not zag. Maybe I'll be like the norm because they have the best odds.
True.
All right, next we've got Tennessee. I'm going King of mid.
Really? King of mid. Why?
Yeah.
Steelers last year.
Yes.
Still finished above 500.
Yep.
Shout out Mike
I
Tomlin.
think they'll do that again. Or
500 is mid, like
Yeah.
by definition.
True.
Yeah, I just think there's not really, outside of like Treylon Burks, there's not really anything that excites me about the Titans.
DeAndre Hopkins,
Yeah, DeAndre Hopkins.
Derrick Henry.
All right, yeah, Derrick Henry's still got some juice in him.
Yeah.
No, like for the future, like long-term
Will Levis.
prospects.
Well, we're talking about this here, not the future.
Chickasimo Okonkwo.
Tyron Burks, or you already mentioned him.
That's it. I'm going. I think it's just Burks, but so I'm
Yeah,
going King of mid.
I'll go wild card team again. Before they made the move for Hopkins, I would have gone king of mid and probably would have put Jacksonville as division favorites. But with Hopkins and Tannehill and Burks sort of emerging as a solid NFL vet, what is this, like year 3 for him, I think. But
Year
anyways,
2, I thought.
okay,
He was
but
a rookie
still,
last year. Yeah.
he performed well as a rookie, and with Hopkins taking some of the coverage away from him, I think that's going to be a good tandem there. Their key really for their whole season is Tannehill needs to stay healthy because I don't trust Will Levis his rookie year. If he comes out,
Boo.
then they will become king of mid, 7-10.
So you
8
said
and
wild
9.
card team, Alex?
Yeah, wild card team if Tannehill can stay healthy.
Rozey, did you say king of mid?
I did. I hate to say it because I like so many guys
I know.
on the Titans. I think if Will Levis were to start the beginning of the season, they will be
You think
in
they'd be
that
better?
wild card, either
But you're a
wild card
Tannehill
team
guy.
or they would be tanking for Caleb.
So you think, but hold on, you think if Will Levis started, they'd have a better overall record than if Tannehill started the
I think
beginning
they
of the season?
could. For that, that's a ceiling floor conversation for me.
Okay.
And if Will Levis started, they'd have a higher ceiling and a lower floor with Tannehill and
Yeah,
that team
with
right
Tannehill,
now.
you know what you're getting. Yeah,
Horrible defense.
yeah, that's the
Um,
big problem. They can't
King of
stop
mid
anybody.
for me.
King of mid. Okay. And then we've got Indianapolis. Young, wild, and free.
Yeah,
Yep.
young, wild,
All
and
in
free. Maybe
agreements
even
there.
taken for Caleb.
Okay. Young, wild, and free.
Tanking
all-
for Marvin Harrison.
And then Houston, I'm going young, wild, and free as well. They physically can't tank for Caleb. They don't have their first round pick next year.
Yeah,
Well, they
they'll
can.
be trying
They can
all
tank.
year,
But not for
they'll be
Caleb.
young, wild, and free. You're making a lot
Maybe
of mistakes as a young, wild, and free team.
They do
might
have
tank
the
for a-
Browns' first round pick, though.
True.
Well, that's
But them tanking doesn't affect that.
No.
All right, one fantasy guy to watch. Starting with Jacksonville,
Can I go first?
you can go first.
Tank Bigsby. If I haven't said it already, I'll say it again. I think by the end of the season, he's taking Etienne's job. Whether that's because of whether that's because of injury, or Tank Bigsby is just better. I think Tank Bigsby is a better running back than Etienne, and it's just Bigsby's a rookie, so we'll see how long it takes. But I think we will get there with Tank Bigsby. Let me see where he's being drafted really quick and redraft, because I'm pretty sure it's like he will be your last pick.
You can get him late, that's for sure. And like if you're in Dynasty, like he's a prime candidate for like a taxi squad if you have it.
Oh yeah, running back 55.
Running back
Ahead.
55.
Gus Edwards, Kenneth Gainwell, Kendre Miller, Chuba Hubbard are ahead of him. I don't even see the conversation for those
Are
guys.
you at all worried about the name effect that we have with fantasy players? Like, are you worried that like you're overhyping him because his name is literally Tank Bigsby?
I think that just adds to his fantasy points. I think
Like
it has
it's like the reverse Mike Davis effect.
Yes, exactly. I mean, I don't really understand how he's so low in these rankings, and we're treating Kenneth Walker like he's gonna bust because Charbonnet's there, and we're not doing the same for Etienne since Tank's there, and has been getting hype from the coaching staff. I mean, let's not forget Etienne, our duckfoot boy, was not drafted by the current regime.
Mm-hmm.
They
you've
got
said
Tank
this.
Bigsby for a reason.
And then he was like really good last year.
He was pretty good last year.
He's
I
gonna
think
be
even
he's
last
gonna
year
be
you
a
saw
top
them
12 guy
using
this year.
Yeah, I just don't see it. They were wanting to use other running backs at the end of the year instead of him because he kept fumbling.
Yeah, but I don't know. He was good in the playoffs too. I feel like you're discriminating against him because of his duck feet. Yeah. All right. So you have Tank Bigsby. I'm going with wide receiver Calvin Ridley. I know. I shouldn't be betting on this guy. He hasn't played in a couple years, but
no, you should.
I
He's
think
him.
I
He's
think
him.
I think he's worth the gamble, and I'm willing to parlay his production with anyone else in this league.
Any more gambling things you want to mention? It's over under.
No, I'm all out of chips. I pushed them all into the table.
No, I agree with that though. Like watching just his little clips from training camp, he's looking pretty good. Like year off, he's fresh.
His feet look fast.
He's got something to prove. And
Not
like,
as fast as Devonta Smith's though. I don't know if y'all saw that.
I did, yeah.
Oh, that was kind of scary.
what was that one clip where it was like one dude ran and the dude looked like JV, and then Calvin Early went and he looked like varsity. I can't remember who the guy went first, but
I know what you're
Calvin-
talking about. Yeah.
Calvin Early just looked great on his route, on that one route, anyways. But
Yeah.
I agree, he's him. Only because he's on my fantasy team.
I've got him on one of mine as well. I think he's going to be pretty good this year. So I'm buying Calvin Ridley stock. So, and then Alex, who's your fantasy guy for Jacksonville?
For Jacksonville, I'm going to go with Evan Ingram with a little bit of a caveat. One, he showed a pretty good connection with Trevor Lawrence last year. And two, in Sleeper, he's listed as a tight end and wide receiver, which is pretty valuable if you want to mix match your tight ends and put him at wide receiver. But he had a pretty good year last year. It's his second year at Jacksonville. I think he's only going to get better with his connection with Trevor Lawrence. There we go. But the only thing that could stop that is Calvin Ridley coming back and taking some of his shares away. But I still think he's going to be pretty good overall, like top 15 tight end, top 35.
I mean, he
receiver.
had that 6-week stretch last year.
Yeah, at the end
where
of
he
the
was
season.
he was like the number one tight end in fantasy over
Yeah,
that
'cause,
stretch.
I kept him on my bench for a little bit because he had a crappy first half of the season, and then at the end of the season he just went off. So I'm just going off that, really.
I will guarantee a
No.
23-point PPR fantasy day for him. And I will also guarantee a 2-point PPR fantasy game for him.
Yeah, he gets injured in one game, and it's like,
But
shoot.
I mean, not even injured. I think that he will disappear some games.
Yeah,
It'll
I
be
mean,
very
it could happen.
frustrating.
There's a couple more weapons in Jacksonville now, so.
Yeah, guess right.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Tennessee. I'm going with Treylon Burks. He
Buy the dip?
by the dip. He's got a little. This isn't just because he's on. He's on Tennessee, but he's got a little AJ Brown in him to me. I'd see when I watched him in these training camp videos. I just buy the dip on Treylon Burks. I think he's gonna have a nice year 2 bump, which I think we forget about with receivers because recently we've had a lot of receivers come in and immediately produce in year 1. That normally doesn't happen. Normally these guys struggle in year 1 and then the good ones really take off in year 2 and year 3. And I could see that for Treylon Burks. So that's the guy that I'm most intrigued on with Tennessee.
I'm lukewarm on him. I don't think he's nearly as good as AJ Brown. I think that was a mistake that they traded AJ Brown to get Treylon Burks. But I don't think he's bad. Where is he being drafted right now? Let's see.
I'm guessing around wide receiver 30, 35,
38.
30s.
I'd probably take him higher, even though I'm not his biggest talent fan. I think there's a place for him on this offense.
Oh yeah, he's going to be a wide receiver too, easily. It's only him and Hopkins, really.
I mean, what did Corey Davis finish that 1 year with AJ Brown? Y'all remember that?
Oh, that's a good
I do.
that's a good comp. Corey Davis. Was that the 2018 season, wide receiver 27?
Yeah,
Or was it the 2020 season, wide receiver 30? Those were his 2 best years.
probably the higher one,
Yeah.
I would imagine.
So I bet it was the 2018 season, which if I go look at game log. No, hold on. Never mind. Yeah, I think it was that one.
I think he's a better receiver than Corey Davis,
Oh,
and
for sure.
Hopkins is probably not as good at this point as AJ Brown.
Yes, I would agree. Let's see. Alex, who do you have for Tennessee?
Well, I'm gonna just go with I'm gonna go with Ryan Tannehill. I think I could see him having a year like Kirk Cousins had last year, like you must have forgot about me year. Like he's got everything to prove. His back sort of against the wall, like nothing to really lose. Like if he has a crappy year, his career is pretty much over. So might as well go guns blazing. I mean, he's got Hopkins now, Burks. I feel like that's a pretty good tandem. Who's his tight end right now though?
I already said it.
I missed it.
Chigoziem Okonkwo,
Okay, so yeah, I mean he's got a decent tight end right there. The
Kyle
only thing that
Phillips.
would be concerning with me is his offensive line, which is definitely below league average.
Better than last year, though.
Yeah, that would be my only concern. But I think Tannehill's gonna have a bounce back year. He just needs to stay healthy.
Yeah, and then who do you have, Rosie?
I got Will Levis. I like Tannehill a lot, too. I think that Tannehill's a good pick in fantasy just because you can get him for really late. I think you can get Will Levis for even later. And
Just draft them as a pair.
Tannehill's kind of old. So if he ever gets hurt, we'll see Will Levis. And
Yep.
Will Levis reminds me a lot of Justin Herbert. He has all the same ability as him. And there were decision making questions about Justin Herbert coming out of college and then just snap. It all went away when he stepped foot onto the NFL field. So
Yeah,
if that can happen for Will Levis, he can win your league.
I'll agree with that. Will Levis also wasn't in the best NFL type system at Kentucky. Like they're more college based. So
Kind of like Oregon was.
yeah, I mean Oregon had better weapons, but
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
College.
okay. And then let's see. Indianapolis. Who wants to go first?
Indiana.
I'll go first. What Alex was saying about Anthony Richardson's deep ball, I think fits Alec Pierce perfectly. I think Alec Pierce has a chance to be the number one wide receiver on the Colts, better than Pittman. I liked him coming out of, I think it was Cincinnati. He's really fast, has great contested catchability, and you saw that last year. It's just as a rookie, he wasn't featured as much. So coming into his second year, I think that he has a chance to step into being Anthony Richardson's favorite target.
Mm.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Huh. Okay. Who do you have,
Well,
Alex?
Yeah, I'll go Jonathan Taylor with a huge asterisk if Indiana will let him play. But I think if Indiana
Oh,
lets
they're
him
going to make him play.
yeah, if he's able to play, I think he's gonna be like, all right, you guys disrespected me. I'm gonna show you who I am, and just he's gonna try and play his heart out for a trade or something like that because Indiana's not gonna be a good team, and they might look to trade him to get some assets at the trade deadline. But Jonathan Taylor, this is his third year in the league. He's got it
Mhm.
all under him. Like they still have a good offensive line in Indiana. That's probably their strength of the whole team. So running behind that, I think he's going to still have a solid year.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I also have Jonathan Taylor, not even from a production standpoint, but just if you have, in terms of fantasy guys to watch, if you have Jonathan Taylor, you are locked into every Jim Irsay quote and every update from this trade request because if he holds out or whatever, or if they put him on the non-football list or injured list or whatever,
Got back pain.
that really throws a wrench in your fantasy plans if you've got him. So I think he's the clear guy to watch here. Even if you don't have him, just like this whole running back market and everything that's happening with it, like this, you're kind of seeing it come to a head with Jonathan Taylor and the Colts right now, and it's fascinating. And then finally, Houston. I've got C.J. Stroud. I really think that we're going to see more from him as a passer than what you normally see from rookie quarterbacks. I'm kind of in on C.J. Stroud. And I don't know if that's like I know. It's just like I think he's a really good passer, and I think like especially getting Mechie back in that offense. Like I think people have forgotten how good Mechie was in college at Alabama,
Yeah, that's
and
true. Yeah, I mean, people forgot about him just because of the cancer diagnosis last year. Like he just
and
disappeared
as
for a
soon
bit.
as Mechie catches 2 passes, he'll have the most receptions of Alabama receivers from that draft class.
Mhm.
So, did you catch that, Rosie?
No, I'm sorry.
I was throwing a shot at your boy Jamison Williams. He has 1 reception.
There
Same
is
draft
nothing
class,
wrong with Jameson
Alabama.
Williams. He has some great fists. If he ever got in a street fight, I think he'd be fine.
Andrew, just say it. You're a Stroud boy.
I think I am. I
Yep.
like it's. I don't know. I know I'm making a mistake because I know these rookie quarterbacks. Half of them are going to be out of the league before. They're not going to be a starter by the time their rookie contract's up.
Mhm.
But I think Stroud's good, and I also think it's scary because I think Stroud is good. I think Richardson is good, and I think Young is good. Like I'm high on all of them, and I know that's
And
wrong.
Levis?
Not really.
You said all of them.
The first round one. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What about Stetson Bennett?
No.
Nah, he's too much of a speedster for me.
26.
Yeah.
47?
You know what? I hope that Stetson Bennett has like a endorsement from like AARP. That would just be great.
Match made in heaven.
Yeah. All right. So Houston, I have CJ Stroud. Who do you have, Rosie?
What were you saying about cool names? I'm going back to the well with Tank Dell.
Who?
Tank Dell.
You love your tanks.
I think he was drafted in the 3rd round last year. CJ Stroud was specifically asking for him. He, in my mind, I liked him better than Zay Jones. They're both kind of smaller, but I think Tank Dell's a better athlete. He's crazy fast, crazy shifty. And it's John Mechie, Nico Collins, Robert Woods on this team. This coaching staff drafted Tank Dell, so I'm going to pick him to be the top guy.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. And who do you have, Alex?
Yeah, I'll go Dameon Pierce, my guy. Building off a great rookie season, I think he's going to be even better this year. He's going to be sort of like a protection for CJ Stroud. When we don't want CJ Stroud throwing 40 times a game, so we're going to hand it off to Dameon Pierce 20 to 25 times a game, and I think he's just going to build off what he had last year. He's a bruiser. He's a good goal line back. He just needs to stay healthy. Like at the end of the season last year, he was a little bit banged up and didn't have as many good games, but overall, I think he's going to have a decent year. I'd say top 12 running back. Top 12.
I like
I like
that. I love Dameon Pierce, so I'm with you, man. I like that. Okay. And then betting picks. So I'm going with, hold on, I need to pull up the odds. So actually someone else go first because I need to pull up the odds on this. I've got the line, but I need to get I've got the prop, but I need to get the odds. So who wants to go next?
Rozey, because I need to pull up odds too.
So I got Calvin Ridley at over 5.5 touchdowns at -125.
Calvin Ridley over 5.5 touchdowns.
I feel like 5.5 is really low. He played
It
5
is.
games in 2021.
I like that.
He caught 2 touchdowns in those games. So, and before that, he had 9, 7, and 10. Trevor Lawrence is throwing to him. This is his best quarterback that he has thrown to him, and he's the only tall guy in the receiving room. So, yeah, I'll take Calvin. I feel like it's a lock for over 5.5 touchdowns.
And that's
All right, I got
minus
mine.
125?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you have, Alex?
All right, I'm going sort of more value here. It's plus 900. It's another AFC South exact order. So we got Jacksonville first, the Texans second, and Tennessee third. Colts coming up the rear at fourth. Plus 900 there.
It's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it. Like, maybe Tannehill gets injured. They bring in Levis mid-season and sort of
And he
just
sucks.
ride it out. Stroud has a good year, and the Colts just tank. And Jacksonville does what Vegas thinks Jacksonville is going to do.
Okay. My pick is Trevor Lawrence over 4,100.5 and a half passing yards, and it's minus 130. Does anyone want to guess how many passing yards Trevor Lawrence had last year?
4,300.
4,113.
Oh,
So if he has the exact same season from a passing yard standpoint as last year, then it's over.
All right.
And you're getting
I like it.
minus 130. So,
I mean, you're adding Calvin Ridley to it.
yeah.
So
Years he doesn't get injured. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's mine. And then two more. Final prediction for division order. Do we all have Jacksonville winning it?
yeah,
Okay. Good. And who do we have coming in second?
Titans.
Yeah, I'll go Titans.
I will
Besides
too.
my betting pick.
And number 3, who do we have? Indianapolis or Houston?
Texans.
I think Houston as well. And then so Indianapolis pulling up the rear. Okay. And then finally, over-under picks. Jaguars over-under 9.5. They went 9-7 last year.
I'll go over just because I think they are a 10-win team.
Or sorry, 9-8. 17-game season's messing with me. I
I'm
think
gonna
they
go
get 10
under.
games too.
I'm going to go under just because I think the AFC overall is pretty stacked. I think they'll still win 9 games, but I don't think they get to 10.
Okay.
Don't bet this line, I would say.
Yeah, stay away. Tennessee over-under 7.5.
Over.
I think over as well.
Yeah, over. They've seemed like an 8-9 win team.
Yeah. And then Indianapolis over-under 6.5.
Under.
I think so too. And then Houston over-under 6.5. I'm going over.
Me too. I think they're a
How's that?
7-win team.
I'll go under, so they go 6-11.
Okay. Got it. Perfect. Well, guys, that's the 2 South Divisions. NFC, AFC.
That was a good one.
Yeah. All right, you ready for a dad joke? It's football related. And it's NFC South related.
Ooh, let's hear it.
Which state should the Tampa Bay Buccaneers move to?
I don't know.
Arkansas.
I should have known.
I hated
Rozey
it.
didn't like that one very much.
I hated it.
Where do football players go when they need a new uniform? New
They go to the
Jersey.
Gap. Oh.
Ow. Shoot.
New Jersey. All right.
I like mine too.
The Gap. That's pretty good. All right, that's going to do it for all of us here at Making the Call. We will be back next week with another division preview podcast. Should we decide now, guys? Should we do north, south, or east? Or wait, we already did south. North, east, or west?
Let's go north.
Will Trent be here?
If Trent's here, we will go north. If not, we will go west.
West.
West? Okay. It's decided. So tune in for that next week. Make sure you are subscribing to the Making the Call YouTube. We've been streaming these episodes live on the YouTube. We're going to have some more stuff planned for the YouTube channel here in the football season. Make sure also you're subscribed to the Making the Call Substack. We'll have links to both of these things in the notes for this episode. You'll definitely want to be tuned into the Substack because we have got some special things cooking for this NFL season. So you're not going to want to miss that. Also, make sure you're subscribed and following the podcast, whether it's on Spotify or Apple or wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure you tell your friends about us. Let them know just about the podcast. And make sure you go try Liquid IV. Use code MTC for 20% off. Go try that sugar-free, the sugar-free line that they've got, because it is delicious. I can speak from personal experience how good that is. So I hope everyone has a fantastic rest of your week, and we will see you next time. Good job, guys.
Great pod.
Yeah, that was
Go to
fun.
bed.
All right, see ya.
Thank you guys.
I'm going to go
for a
record this
wonderful
Ranger
time.
segment and then start editing the podcast.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not
All
done
right.
yet. The grind
You
never
going
stops,
solo
my
on the-
friend.
That's
you going
right.
solo on the baseball thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't want Alex to help you?
He's not a Rangers fan.
Yeah,
So?
I just would have been asking questions about the Rangers because I'm all in on the Mariners right now.
Yeah. So I'll do this. It'll be like 10 minutes, start the podcast, and then do the rest. So,
Let me know what clips you want me to clip.
Okay. I think we should find a clip for the King of Mid. I think that'll be funny.
I love it.
So,
I don't know if I want me saying what I did about Kirk Cousins.